This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special, CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special. Instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Tim.
Bill Maher is not stepping back from his fight against Hollywood's woke favorites. The late-night host has started again, criticizing celebrities who keep pushing their woke ideas on everyone like it is some trendy Hollywood health fad. In true Maher style, he attacked their weak points and showed the hypocrisy hiding under all that shiny virtue signaling. He began with his usual smirk and dropped a strong truth that landed harder than a movie scandal. Maher reminded viewers that today's witch hunts do not come from old Puritans or politicians anymore. They now come from Twitter crowds, elite college activists, and self-righteous progressives who treat outrage like a full-time job. J.K. Rowling, once attacked by conservatives for writing about magic, is now criticized by the left for believing that womanhood means more than pronouns and makeup. Maher pointed out the irony, showing how yesterday's villains can quickly turn into today's heroes with just one tweet.
There's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
The irony was clear to him. Maher called it almost poetic. The woke left praises its heroes until those same heroes step slightly away from the approved script. Then they're thrown aside faster than a failed movie on opening weekend. Rowling's supposed crime was simple. She thought for herself, yet the crowd labeled her unacceptable. Maher's list continued. Elon Musk, once praised as a tech genius, was rejected when he spoke his mind. Joe Rogan, once liked by progressives, became their main target for inviting the wrong guest. Even Maher himself, once praised as a bold liberal voice, felt the sting of cancel culture. His final point was sharp and simple. In woke culture, support lasts only as long as obedience. The moment someone questions the script, that person is pushed out of their so-called tolerant circle.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I got to tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone. And in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm going to do it right here, right now. And not only that, we're going to do it every year.
If you are enjoying this breakdown, please press the subscribe button. That evening, Maher asked a simple but powerful question. How can people push back against cancel culture? His answer sounded like classic Maher. He suggested creating an award show to honor those brave enough to resist it. It would be rebellion mixed with entertainment. He described the room coming alive as ideas moved quickly. There would be banners, trophies, bold speeches, all filled with defiance. Hollywood loved the idea until action was required. Then came the usual silence. Maher smiled and said he would handle it himself, right there on the spot. He even promised to make it happen every year. If Hollywood refused to honor truth tellers, he would step in. His first honoree was Cornell University President Martha Pollack. When students asked for warnings before difficult topics at a university, she refused to give in. She would not turn higher education into a daycare for fragile feelings. Maher praised her courage. Pollack told students clearly that college is for learning new ideas, not for always feeling comfortable or correct. It showed real strength, something many schools seem to lack today. Maher argued that universities have become echo chambers, supporting strange ideas while punishing anyone who dares to disagree openly.
First award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in or hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your and making you feel wonderful and always right. You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating. So, Cornell, I present you with these balls. I sure could have used them.
Maher joked about today's younger generation with sharp humor. He asked how her group could be so sensitive about words, yet careless in actions. The contradiction felt both amusing and troubling. He described it clearly. Many young people say they are brave and independent, yet they struggle when someone disagrees with them. He called this the strange paradox of modern times. Their double standards, he argued loudly, almost look artistic. They chase attention and shock value, but demand censorship for anything slightly offensive. Maher let that contradiction sit quietly for a moment. Then he surprised everyone with his next award choice. Trader Joe's, the popular grocery chain, became his example of quiet resistance. For years, the company sold fun, culturally themed products under its own name. When one teenager online called the branding racist, outrage quickly spread. Maher explained how predictable these reactions can be. Petitions started, hashtags appeared, and many believed the company would give in, but it did not. Trader Joe's stood firm and simply said the labels were not racist and that decisions would not be made based on online petitions.
Next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition.
Maher reminded viewers that the online crowd is not a powerful army. It is often just a few loud people spending too much time online and shouting into empty space. Their anger rises quickly and disappears just as fast, fading away like old trending topics. Next, Maher honored another figure, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos, who refused to let cancel culture control comedy. When employees protested Dave Chappelle's jokes and walked out, Sarandos stayed firm. He defended creative freedom and said that if someone could not support the company's content, maybe Netflix was not the right place for that person. It was a bold statement that echoed across Hollywood. Maher smiled while recalling how Sarandos made a simple goodbye sound powerful and confident. He dedicated the moment to Ted as the audience cheered loudly. Then Maher shifted the focus to comedy itself, calling it the new battleground in the culture debate. The art form that once grew by challenging limits now faces criticism and risk for simply making the wrong people laugh.
Cyrus once said, I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean. Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan.
Maher listed the names like they were part of a rebellion lineup. Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan, Rob Schneider, all criticized for jokes or opinions that failed the new purity test. He shook his head at how ridiculous it seemed. Comedy, once a safe place for truth, has turned into a danger zone where one wrong word can ruin someone's career. The irony, he explained, is hard to ignore. Comedians now get punished for doing their work, questioning rules, mocking hypocrisy, and showing society its reflection. It feels like blaming a firefighter for starting a controlled burn. The crowd listened closely, focused on every sentence. Ma's voice grew stronger as he argued that the woke crowd has even affected laughter. When people cannot joke, he warned, they also cannot think clearly. He mentioned Tropic Thunder as an example of Hollywood losing courage. Once praised as bold satire, it now faces criticism years later from online moral critics. But Ben Stiller, who starred in and directed the movie, did not apologize. He openly said he still supports the film and everyone involved. Maher treated that moment like applause for basic common sense.
Next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. Reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
Maher pointed out what he believes is the real threat. It is not public criticism, but fear. A career does not end because people complain. He argued it ends when someone gives up their voice. That statement brought both shock and cheers from the crowd. His point was simple and direct. Stop saying sorry for reasonable opinions and stop trying to satisfy people who will never be happy. He describes it as a fight to protect creative freedom. Maher's strong line hit the room like thunder. In the end, he said, people respect bravery more than forced agreement. It was a truth many in Hollywood hear but choose to ignore. Then, with his familiar grin, he shifted focus to famous celebrities who speak loudly but act cautiously. They promise resistance until real action is required. He played a clip of Miley Cyrus saying she would leave if Trump became president. The audience laughed as Maher joked that she was still here, unhappy perhaps, but still attending award shows. His timing was sharp and confident. He added another joke, saying maybe she returned from Tajikistan just for the event. The crowd responded with loud laughter. It was a clean and cutting roast.
When movie lovers get together these days, one phrase that comes up a lot and always makes me sad is, "Yeah, you couldn't make that one today." Top of that list is the great Tropic Thunder, which the scolds have been after for years. But in February, Ben Stiller tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. It's always been a controversial movie since when we opened, proud of it and the work everyone did on it." See, people, it's not that hard. He said it, and he still got a commercial. And the lesson is, if you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, impatient, immature, smartphone-driven, gerbil minds will forget about it and go on to the next nothing burger, and you still will have your cojones.
Maher expanded his criticism further. He joked about the long list of celebrities who promised to leave the country if Trump won the election. Their statements sounded dramatic and earned applause, but they lacked commitment. Months into Trump's presidency, he observed, none of them had actually left. There were no packed trucks, no one-way flights, no new houses overseas, just the same parties and red carpets in familiar neighborhoods. He described it as performance instead of principle. Loud promises dressed up as activism. Words meant for attention, not action. Eddie Griffin once said he would move to Africa if Trump won. Maher joked that after years, he'd only made it as far as Van Nuys. The room filled with laughter. Then he mentioned George Lopez, who had also promised to leave. Maher pointed out that he was still here too. The audience laughed again, but beneath the humor was a serious idea. Hollywood depends on image. These celebrities are not political experts or moral leaders. They are entertainers playing roles, sometimes pretending to offer guidance.
2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez still here.
Maher carefully challenged that image. He argued that Hollywood's beliefs change with every trend. Principles fade when money is at risk, and integrity weakens once applause stops. He described many of them as performers chasing attention. Every opinion, speech, and social media post is carefully planned to stay relevant. He said it is not courage, it is marketing. Then he delivered a sharp final line. When public pressure appears, many collapse quickly. The crowd reacted loudly because the statement felt honest. As the laughter slowed, Maher's voice softened into reflection. He explained that his message was not just comedy. It was meant as a warning. Cancel culture only works when people surrender to it. Trader Joe's showed that standing firm can succeed. Martha Pollock showed that courage still exists, and comedians show that humor will not easily be silenced. Hollywood may chase approval, but real influence belongs to those who stay steady. Maher insisted that pushing back is not dangerous, it is necessary. With that, the show ended. The applause filled the studio, the lights glowed brightly, and Maher closed with a knowing smile. He suggested that truth still survives in Hollywood. As the credits rolled, one clear idea remained. Stop giving power to outrage. Defend common sense and do not apologize for honesty. Before the screen went dark, Maher shared one last familiar reminder. If viewers enjoyed the show, they should like, subscribe, and keep watching because the debate is far from over.